what we have here is a camera with a plane, not a plane, but a grease pencil object parented to the camera. So no matter where I move the camera, the grease pencil object always is in frame of the camera. So I have the position and the rotation keyframed on frame 1, and these are, I think, constant keyframes. And then I also have keyframe on the grease pencil object for the two, just the one, the pen. I have a white background, which is what you saw here. But I'm locking it because it's just the background. And then we have the pen, or the pen part. So if I go into camera view mode, you'll see we have this window. I've turned the white background opacity to 0.35 because if I have it to 1, it's just pure white, which I can toggle on and off. But if I want to, the whole purpose of this is to kind of trace what I want to, where I want. Sometimes what's hard for me is to visualize what I want to storyboard, like where's the camera, how low, how high the camera is, the angles and stuff. So if I can use this mock set, I can even zoom in here and see it's kind of what we were working on before with the shelving and stuff. Like this is what I was working off of with that one, or I was working off of that one for this. You can even see the person here from before. So I can use this kind of mock dummy set to trace and manipulate for different shots and stuff, and I can build this out better. But you can see it's just, they're all shrink wrapped to the floor just for this sake. So waste no time. If I go into this first shot that we're doing today is the first shot of the movie, which is going to be a long establishing shot. It's going to be probably the most expensive shot. Yeah, probably the last shot is going to be the most expensive shot because it's going to be long, push-in shot with all these trees, and it's establishing the location of the mini golf course. But as we zoom in here, we're going to come down this mini golf course and land right at Roland's face. Camera's going to land right here, and he's going to be getting ready to be hit. And then as the club comes up, he's going to be smacked, and the camera's going to turn around, and we're going to see Roland basically just be shot down and do a cool brick, or do some sort of really cool roll towards the hole. But what you don't realize is that after he gets a hole in one here, there's going to be a big car honking because it's actually just a dream sequence, but not a sequence, but a dream. It's like a daydream. He's daydreaming about playing mini golf, but he's not really. So that's what we're going to storyboard today. So if I go into my camera view mode, I'm going to go into my grease pencil object and go into draw mode. Draw mode, I have all my pencils, and this is where I'm doing all of my sketching. You can see I can draw on it here, and then let me just give a quick, like, if I just trace this real fast. Oop, that was crap. Right. Am I doing it on the white? Yeah, I am on the white. Crap. See, that's why I have that locked. Lock this. I have to go on my black pen. Layer. These are all your layers, like Photoshop. So I have my white background layer here. Let me redo what I just did. So I can come back in here and turn on, like, If I want to see what it is, just storyboard, no camera. I can use the background if I want to in the storyboard. There's no rules, but it's basically, you know, it's either a helper or just put it to 1 and just storyboard. I could even just, you know, I could even come in here and just ignore the camera altogether and just say, I don't know, I want like the trees, like, but this is where the background, you know, comes in handy, where it's helping us figure out the staging, the blocking. It's kind of like blocking and stuff all at once, but erase all this. So that's basically the rundown of the layout here, and then every time we move forward in the timeline, it'll jump to a new position if I move the camera. But for now, we're just gonna go forth and kind of trace this a bit. And I'm not going to go super detailed in this first pass. Zoom in. And the first pass is always rough, right? We're not gonna model. We're not gonna go in here and trace every single. Well, maybe on this first one we will, because we're setting up the location, but we're definitely not gonna like draw all the bricks and stuff, right? It's not that big a deal. But we definitely want this first frame to look like it's actually you know, mini golf course of some sort. And that's why this dummy set is kind of useful, where I'm having all, like I said before, where all these holes are just duplicates because I don't have enough hole designs yet. Where usually we're just drawing these shapes and you don't even, it's not final, it's just figuring out like, hey, this is a mini golf course. I said we're not going to trace all these, but we definitely are for this first one. Really rough. And this is where doing storyboards for 30 minutes is not like we're already at minute 22. Like, it's crazy that, you know, we'll get so, like, all this is such a slow paced thing that, you know, we're figuring out if this is worth to do in storyboarding. But, you know, like I said, we're gonna just do this on this. We'll figure out the format in future streams. Maybe it's cool, maybe I'll just do storyboarding in like longer sessions, where in modeling and other stuff is in this short format. But okay, we can just put in some trees, like random, like okay, maybe there's like some trees in the foreground, right? So boom. And then I'll also get the parking lot. Right, so there's like the parking spaces, and then we get the road. So first frame, establishing shot. Great. Now what we're gonna do, since we have this keyed here, boom, we also have the camera keyframed, boom. What we can do is go out of draw mode and go to frame 10. And then hide this for now. I'm gonna move my camera, do this. bring it in, maybe go a little bit lower. You can see right now it's keyframing. So go boom, cut. So every time I move the camera, it keyframes for me with this little button here. It's auto keyframe. And then also when I start to draw, if I go into draw mode on frame 10, it starts a new one. So if I go back, so now each part where I move the camera and I start a new stroke, it's gonna automatically jump to that. So I can just keep going back and forth, and I could even go in the middle, like if I want to do one, if this is too big of a jump, where I'll draw this part. I also have to remember to uncheck that while I'm drawing, because I want to. I want to be able to zoom in and stuff. Oh, it's really hard to get her. Oh yeah, I forgot. Holding down Shift makes, see this little tail? It makes, it's what's it called? Is it stroke simplify? No. Active smooth, I think that's what it is. Right now you can set this up to like be 1. If you hold down Shift, it kind of, it doesn't make it a straight line, but it kind of gives it a nice like flowy. If I wanted to do, well, for instance, this is terrible. I'll hold down Shift, and it kind of gives it a little bit of a delay. And then I can always come back in here and do like this. It kind of makes it a little bit more easy to do smoother lines, because sometimes it'll, like that, it's janky as hell. It's very helpful. And I don't like how, why is the eraser so big? Well, I'm gonna make it smaller. Great. Now if I go into this and do, yeah, oh wait. Yeah, it deletes a whole bunch of it. Yeah, I don't know why. Well, I do know why, because it's a 1. It's one object. That's why it's more beneficial to kind of go like this. And I said that we're not going to be super detailed, and I'm being super crazy about 16 minutes. We're just getting the rough. I shouldn't even be doing this, right? Go here and do. Increase my brush size a little bit. Just gonna go like this. And if you watch, I mean, I could go on and on about storyboarding, because it's one of my favorite things to study in terms of like Pixar and just the big studio companies. I watch a lot of videos of behind the scenes of the story meetings and stuff. Like if I had to pick, I'm a 3D generalist, but if I had to pick one area, well, if you do join a big studio like Pixar or Disney or whatever, you have to. There's not a lot of generalists in those big studios because they have a big pipeline where they're trying to fill roles. But if I had to pick one of the disciplines, I think story artist would be definitely for sure the one I would love to do, because when you're modeling characters, and you're definitely putting your animation too. Every part of it. You have you're putting your own artistic perspective into it. But when you're making someone else's movie, like if you know you're not the director, you're taking notes from the director and whatnot. But if you're on the story team, you're basically like you're coming up with the shots. I mean, blocking and all those guys will, you know, the blocking department and staging and stuff, like it's all a team effort. But the story artists, when they put their pen to paper and make all of those panels of storyboards, they go through thousands of pieces of paper. I mean, they do it digitally now, but back in the day when they had them on a cork board, like there's one behind me, they would have so many panels with like this would be a piece of paper, and they would do that thousands and thousands of times, and they would pitch it. I like the pitching videos. You can watch them pitch the story. It's a lot of fun. I definitely recommend checking out some of those if you haven't already, and maybe I'll put some in the show notes after this. Potentially. I think I have some saved already. There's a really great one on YouTube. You should YouTube. There's a Pixar story artist that is showing how they pitch a storyboard, like a scene in an actual setting, like in the actual studio setting. So to show you how they kind of flip through the pages and do the voices and stuff. I'll see if I can find that one, put that in the show notes, because that was a real fun one. But like I said, grease pencil is an area that I'm not super familiar with, but I've been doing a lot of storyboarding recently. Okay, that's good. I also want to put it in the person, obviously. Perfectly fine, and then we'll put in some trees. I think I'll have to go back. There's gonna be like a big forest over here. And maybe some sky, I'm not sure, but we'll figure it out. I'm gonna go back to this frame and put in the person. Got 10 minutes, I got time. And you can see that it's kind of like when I erase, it's not like Photoshop where it's like deleting a big chunk. Like I'm just erasing this part, because if I go into edit mode, you can see like all of these lines are just literally like curves that they apply a pre-made stroke around it. So I can even go in here and like you can see these points. See? So I could even go in here if I really wanted to subdivide these, hit G to move. Oh, I don't want proportional editing. G to move. So if I wanted to, like, I guess if I wanted to just delete with more fidelity, I can just subdivide these a lot, right? Like this, and then go back into draw mode, and then I can delete more like this, but you're adding more like literally more geometry. So it's not a big deal because this is just drawing, so it's all good. But that's why erasing is getting rid of this whole chunk, because it's literally just this line. But now we got these two frames. We've got 8 minutes left. I'm gonna hit save. Half hour, we got 2 frames, awesome. But we'll see if I turn on, go back in object mode. If I turn on my white, you can see this is what we have so far with our storyboard. So this is the power of combining the parenting, actually it's actually funny too, because if I click on the grease pencil, you can see it. It's literally just a plane right here. And because when I go into draw mode, I'm drawing on the view. Like I could draw here. Well, oops. I could draw here, right? But it's over here. We don't want that. So when I go into camera view mode, I'm drawing on this plane that we parented to the camera. So that's the power of combining parenting the grease pencil object to the camera. You can move the camera wherever you want and then trace what's behind it to get a more detailed approach into what you want to storyboard. And then when I get even closer, like when I get to this point down here, I won't need it as much because this is gonna be like more like he's gonna move his facial animation and stuff. So all of these things, getting the camera placed, it's not necessary, and I don't want to use it as a crutch, because that would hinder kind of the creativity a little bit. But it's a good tool to use if I need it. So this is proving to be pretty good. Cool. So now let's keep going. 6 minutes. Let's see if we can get one more. Click on the white background, bring it down again. You can even turn it off, and you're getting everything you can turn off just with the eyeball. But these different layers. Okay, let's go to 15. Take our camera. Actually, and just hide this for now. Bring this down more. We're going to be kind of coming down the mini golf course. So this is 15. If I do another pen stroke in draw mode, starts a new one. Oh, again. Uncheck camera. We're getting kind of a Dutch angle, but I don't want that for sure. Is this camera tilted? How is this possible? Is the camera tilted? I just said that. Oh, it is a little bit. Okay. Ah, there we go. Sweet. Okay, now we're good. Draw mode. Four minutes. With this one, I might draw in some of these bricks. That, and again I can use shift to do this kind of lasso leash. Doesn't work all, like if I want to make this tight corner, you have to kind of follow. It's kind of hard, so it's good for like bigger arcing things like this. Oh, that was bad. Yeah. And stop it and just kind of... Oh, getting my hands cramping up. This. Zoom in. When you zoom in, it doesn't change the radius of the brush. There might be a setting where you can change that. Like when you zoom in, the brush actually does get bigger in size. But I don't know why you would want that. Again, getting way too granular, and then these are kind of overlapping, so I can just add in some lines here to indicate like these bricks. It's not the focal point anyway. 2 minutes. Okay. Speed this up a little bit. And I don't know how detailed it with, like, I don't want to waste time. I mean, it's not really wasting time. But like, the storyboard is like a blueprint for the movie, right? So, but like this character, for instance, I'm not gonna like do hair and like go super detailed with that because it's not the focal point. We're just trying to get the, oh man, can I do this? Whoa, way too thick though. Yeah. 55 seconds. Maybe just back up a bit. Seconds. Three, two, one. Time's up. Boom. Time's up. We did it. I mean, we didn't really do too much, but we did some. I'm just gonna take a little bit more time to clean this up. Kind of just show. Maybe I'll go a little bit over time and do get to the point where we see him. Oh wow, this is really small. Because this is the camera, right? This is how crazy, like, this is what the camera sees, but I'm zooming in this detail, like this is still very far away. But I'll just put in some trees. Okay. Oh, this is, oh, you know what? I don't know why, but the camera, I want them all to be constant. don't know how to do that. How do I do it all constant? Key, interpolation mode, constant, all that. Okay, perfect. I think that's gonna do it. So if I turn back on my grease pencil, we have our first, boom, establishing shot. Coming in closer, so we get this kind of movement. Makes sense. And the composition and stuff will change a little. I mean, like, this is just getting the ideas down, rough pass of the storyboard, but I'm going to continue a little bit longer and finish up